Early morning and the flags at Loftus Versfeld Stadium were flying at half-mast. Bulls players came through to lay flowers at the foot of the iconic Loftus Bulls statue. They were former teammates and young players who knew of the mercurial, fleet-footed winger whose exploits lit up the stadium on a weekly basis. Players like Willie Leroux, who went through the ranks with Hendricks, their careers mirrored, even though they were in different stages of their playing lives. Bulls coach Jake White was surprised that the likes of Hendricks and Leroux were so interlinked, and what an impact one player could have on so many.
I'm sure it'll be emotional. I mean, it's always like that in sport, you know. I mean, so much so that we didn't train yesterday, you know. And what's interesting, because you look at that and you think, you know, you look at it. I'm going to give you an example. I didn't realize how close Willie was to Cornal, and then when I looked at the highlights, and then I asked him this morning, I said, geez, I didn't realize that they played Test rugby together. They played for Free State, they played for Boland, they played for the Bulls. I think Willie was here when he was here, you know. So it just shows you a guy like that. You don't think it even affects a guy like Willie, and I'm talking about because he's a new guy in the Bulls setup, but even him, you know. So we couldn't train yesterday. I mean, it was very tough.
The Bulls players broke their routine as they came to terms with the news of the death of Cornal Hendricks. They had the blessing of their coach, who was quick to point out that often professional sportsmen are seen as superhuman, almost robotic in their preparations, while an event like the loss of a colleague and friend shows that they are also human and need the time to process real-life moments.
It made me realize yesterday when they didn't want to train, and I don't say it like that, when they didn't feel like they were up for it, that it's not, you know, you take a lot of things for granted, and I'm sure as they do every day as well, you know, being a player, you know, being, you know, I want to say spoiled the way we are spoiled, you know, maybe they take it for granted, and maybe a reality check like that, you know, makes them re-look at where they are as rugby players, which, you know, is part of my job as well, is to get them to realize that where they are and what they're doing is not really the real world. You know, it's very nice while it lasts, but it's not really how the real world operates.
The Bulls will play the Dragons on Saturday. The team from Newport in Wales also came to the stadium to lay flowers and pay their respects. Simon Burke, SABC News.